Adoption Therapy Session 5. One of the key takeaways this week, apart from, again, sore eyes and a red nose, which has now calmed down, was to allow crying time, which is not something I've heard of before. I've heard of worry time. If you've ever been, I think it's a CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy approach, where you allow a certain time a day to worry. You write down the things that you want to worry about, and then in those 10 minutes you sit and worry the hell out of them. But I'd never heard of crying time. And as somebody who's always felt they've been very expressive around their emotions, I was surprised to learn that actually, certainly in the last few years, I've been suppressing a lot of emotion. And actually the whole of my life, which is, that draws into the adoption trauma side of things. There's been a certain level of suppression, but generally, I would be the one that would be in tears over stuff. So I never really thought I needed crying time. But it turns out that just like being able to speak your truth and having a safe space to feel validated, have your words heard and validated, it's also beneficial to healing to have time to cry. And I'll just give you a very quick thing that happened that brought this up during the session. Was I was sitting in our sunroom looking out across the loch, and I was thinking about my poor old dad, who's now got dementia, and he's not doing too well. Well, he's not giving up, but he's not doing too well. And I sort of shut my eyes for a second, and I could see myself on the floor in that room, curled up in a fetal position, crying. I could see it in my mind's eye, and it was just like a baby would be, sort of all curled up and just crying. And it was when I explained this image that I saw, and my therapist, she said to me, well, what do you think? Why do you think you saw that? And I said, because there's a part of me that is afraid that is what I will become. If I allow these emotions to come forward, and this thing that I feel I have within me that I literally need to cry out, I need to get it out of me. If I allow myself to start feeling those feelings, I'm never going to stop. So she said basically the takeaway though was, rather than keep saying to yourself, now is not the time, which, let's face it, if you're working or you're busy with something you need to concentrate on, breaking down into tears is not necessarily the time, but actually creating time where you say to your other half, I'm actually going to go away and have some crying time. That still sounds a bit weird to me, like self-indulgent. But the other fear I had was that if I start crying, it's going to be quite loud. It's going to be loud, guttural kind of sobs. And again, my therapist said, just let him know. He can then take himself out the house if he doesn't want to be around it. But just tell him that you'll be okay. Excuse me. And that, you will be all right. But this is part of the healing process. So there we are. Something I didn't know. Crying times. Anybody else practice crying times? Pop on Marley and me and have a good bawling session.